Hey, hey, how are you? I had a really interesting session with someone earlier, and I thought it would be cool to. Let's actually write this down good. I thought it'd be cool to come and have a little chat about that, because it's super relevant, I think, right, like right now. Um, when is it? I'm asking the question, when do we put the strategy aside? Um, so this morning I had a call with someone, um, and she's someone that has that's taken quite a considerable amount of time to learn various levels of strategy in business. From marketing, from creating courses to passive income. All of the various bits and pieces. But she's not making any money, and she's stuck, right? So, and she was saying, well, I've done this and I've learnt this, and I've been in Janet Murray's group for ages, and I've learnt some wonderful things there. She's like, but I just don't know like how to do it. And what's happened is she's put the brakes on because the thing that she wants to do, that she feels really called to do, hey Inka, isn't aligned with all that strategy that she's been learning about, and she feels like she's doing something wrong, right? So she's got, like, for me, the way I described it to her is, you've got, and this is how I work, right? So you have strategy in one hand, and then you have what I just referred to as your instinct, your intuition in the other hand. And for me, they work together. They knit together and they work together. I don't find that working just from one singular piece that it works really well. Okay, so I don't find that if you just work from an intuitive position with no strategy, I don't think that works very well. And if you work just purely from a strategic point, if you don't throw in a bit of intuition into there, it doesn't really work very well either. And what I've said to her, I think is going on, is that the two parts of her are pulling against each other, because her intuition wants her to go off and do this thing, and yet her strategic mind is going, no, 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 you can't do that, you can't do that. So what's actually happened is she's just stopped. She's not doing anything at all. But her priority at the moment, her focus point at the moment, is she needs to get some cash in the bank. And so I said to her, look, do you know what? This is the kind of time that you need to focus on progress and not perfection. And, your priority at the moment is to move forwards and, go earn some fucking money. Go do the thing that it is that you want to do, right? And intuitively, that's where she needs to be. That's kind of where she feels really, really called to go. And so we sort of, like, we had a bit of a conversation. I was like, look, this is where I think you should go. And what we did was we applied a little bit of strategy to what she's doing. So she's running on maybe like 70% intuition and sort of 30% strategy on something to help her get momentum, to help her get some cash in the bank, so that what then can happen is she can then start to apply some of that strategy that she's learned over the last few years to her business. Because at the moment, she has no momentum. You can't apply strategy to something that has no momentum, right? It's like bashing your head against a brick wall. You're not going to go anywhere. And I think there's possibly quite a few people that are, maybe changing businesses at the moment, or, maybe you have been one of those people that intuitively was like, okay, I'm going to go learn some of this stuff first, before I put my business out there and all that kind of stuff. Well, there's going to be a line that you'll need to draw in the sand as to when you stop learning and you start doing. because lots of people fall into the trap of learning, and they never do. They never go out and actually do anything. And thus they never make any money, and nothing ever gets tested, and you can't really put much of your strategy into place because you've got no money coming in, you've got no clients coming in, you've got no feedback, you've got no there's no content going out, you're not trying to sell nothing, and all those kinds of things. You know, and one of the main things that she's felt quite conflicted about is the whole, you know, I need to build my audience before I start selling stuff. And, you know, she's working with, like, she needs to build for the first 9 months before she even sells stuff. And she's like, well, how do I do that? I need money in the bank. Like, how does that work? And for me, it's like, yes, you do absolutely, categorically have to build an audience. You can't be selling to an empty room. It doesn't work. You can be shouting as loud as humanly possible, and you can have the best product since sliced bread. But if there's nobody in the room to even hear what you have, then you're not going to make sales. But here's one of the things that I kind of wanted her to know, and I also want you to know, is building is essential, and that information that she's had is not incorrect. But I think she's put herself into the, well, I've got to build for like a 9-month period, which means I can't sell for a 9-month period. And I don't think that's right. I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why I don't think that's right. When you build it, and I know this from experience, right? So I did this from experience. When you build an audience that you don't sell to, that you don't talk to, you don't place call to action, you don't get them to do anything. So you don't ask them to do something, or to buy something, or to download something, or to watch something, or any of those kinds of things. What you're doing is you're educating them that they will not be sold to, period, ever. And that audience will become really comfortable with you not asking for things. And to some extent, you will become very comfortable not asking for things. And lots of people fall into this trap. I did. Okay, it was one of the things that I fell into. I fell into the trap of, you know, I had a relatively large audience when I pivot. But because I had been I hadn't educated them that I was going to sell to them, it was very hard for me to change that mindset around with the audience that I have. And yes, a certain amount of them fell away because then they're like, oh, well, she's just going to start selling to us now. We're not going to get the free shit anymore. They fell away, and you kind of have to almost repopulate a part of your audience. But what it does is it educates them, but it also educates you, so that when that time comes that you need to sell something, or, you know, you need to put extra money in the bank, or, you know, it's just this big thing that you've been building up to doing, and you've not sold, you've not done that whole, and now go buy this, or now go click this, or now go and have a look at that, or now go drop me a message, or whatever the call to action might be. It becomes really hard and quite uncomfortable for quite a few of you. So you can imagine, can't you, that you've put all this work in, this time and effort into building an audience for 9 months, and they're used to you not selling, and you're used to you not selling, and then all of a sudden you want to sell. You've got you that's feeling so fucking uncomfortable that it'll probably come out and feel really fucking weird, and it's going to be like, oh, I just don't like it, right? And it might come across as maybe a little bit inauthentic just because you're nervous. And then you've got this audience that are like, well, hang on a minute, like, she's been doing all this stuff for free. Why should we now buy it? And that's when a clash happens. So although, yes, you need to build an audience first, I think it's really pivotal that while you're doing that, you do have some call to action type stuff in there. And I don't think that there's no right or wrong reason here. There's no like hard and fast rule that when you're building, you can't attempt to sell something. Like, who the fucking hell made that up? Because you know, 9 months, 6 months is a long time without having any income coming in, right? So, you know, my rule is, why don't you? Like, why aren't you just dropping some stuff in there to test the water, to get, there's loads of things you can do. Like, you can test the water, you can ask for some beta testers. You know, that isn't necessarily an exchange of money. That might be that you're reaching out and saying to the audience that you currently have, and even if it's very small, I've got an idea and I really would like to select a couple of you that I want to work with. It'll be in exchange for a testimonial, you know, so that you get your assets in place for when your business is ready to grow, right? I don't see any issue with, you know, throwing those things in. Like, why wouldn't you? It gives you practice at your call to action to make you feel as comfortable as you possibly can when you do have something to sell. It pre-educates the audience that you are going to sell to them at some point, so that when you do sell to them, they don't have a complete meltdown and decide that they're going to back away and unfollow and unsubscribe and all of those kinds of things. And it just starts to create something that's a little bit more cohesive and works a bit better, you know, when you do drop something like huge. And hey, like, you know, you might drop something out there and go, I'm doing this at just kind of like a one-off price. And if someone buys that, that's money in the bank. How's that hot? Like, how's that's a bad thing? I don't get that mentality. And so this is kind of where she was. And I was like, look, there is a time when you just need to pack away all the strategy that you've learned. Pack it away, because you can unpack it again. Like, it's not like you're going to lose it. It's all there. But there are times that you need to pack it away and go with the thing that you actually want to do. And in her case, she needs to bring some money in. She needs to, you did your first reel. That's cool. Tag me so I can see it. Tag me. You know, do the thing that you really want to do. Go with intuition, because sometimes just purely going with intuition can create some really phenomenal things when you just listen and really listen to what's going on inside. And if you feel the overwhelming like urge to go do something and throw caution to the wind and fuck the strategy, and I'm just going to go do these things, like, do it. Like, it honestly, it can bring in some of the best things that you do. And what I find is, if I put a blocker on like my intuitive side, and I put a blocker on I can't do that because it doesn't line up with that. Maybe this is just my rebellious side. I don't know, but I know loads of my audience are just like this. If I put a blocker on that, I tend to kind of put a blocker on everything. Like, my flow just fucks out. I don't want to work and I don't want to show up, because in the back of my mind, I'm going, I really want to do that thing, but I've got to do this instead. Like, I just have like a little internal battle in my own head as to what I should and shouldn't be doing. And I just said to her, pack it away. Let's pack all that wonderful strategy that you've got away, because it's not relevant for you right now. Right now, you have an opportunity, and she definitely has an opportunity for doing some outreach, helping some people that genuinely are going to need it. And she's got quite a nice warm audience that could do that. So she does have some audience, but pack the strategy away that says you shouldn't do that because you haven't been building for X amount of time, and go sell some shit, put some money in the bank. Yeah, go reach out to these people, because she's not even sure yet if the thing that she has for sale is a viable thing. Yeah, so this is another really great reason, and why she should go test this theory out, get some people on board, get some money in the bank, see if it's a viable product. Can you imagine if she hadn't? And she's been building for these 9 months that she's got to build, and this product that she's got, and she's never tried to sell it before, and she gets to the end of that 9 months and nobody wants to fucking buy it because it's not a viable product. I'd much prefer know that at the beginning than to build for 9 months, drop it at the end of 9 months, and then for no one to fucking buy it. I would be heartbroken. It'll be soul destroying to do things like that. So whenever you're taught something from a mentor, from a coach, from a course, from someone that's pretty successful, including me, always take it with a pinch of salt almost. Like, it's always bendable. You've always got to move and twist things into your own kind of way. Everything's just a kind of guideline and not necessarily a hard and fast rule. I don't believe that there are any hard and fast rules in the online space. There are a few things that we all need to do, but we all do them with our own spice or our own take on it or our own trick, or, you know, just the various little twisty bits. But most of it is really about you taking the knowledge and the pieces from the various different people that you're learning from and creating your own unique way of doing things. You know, I've had coaches for quite a long time, and there's plenty of times when I've had a coach reach out to me and go, well, we need to do this, and I'm like, nah, not doing it, don't want to do it, don't like the idea of it, I'm not fucking doing it. And so we don't do it. We find a way around it. If it's a fundamental hard and fast no for me, and there are not many, but there are a few, then we don't do it and we work our way around it. And it's just about me building my way of doing things, the same as you need to build your way of doing things, from all of the nuggets that you'll be getting from all the various different people. So, you know, if your focus at the moment is I've really got to get some product testing out, I really need to get some money in the bank, I really need to just get moving with this. But if you're stopping because of some strategy around someone saying, well, I can't do anything yet because I haven't been building for long enough, boot the hell. Because you can do two things at once. You know, we are multitaskers. You can be building and you can be selling at the same time. You can do both. There's no reason why you have to stop one to start the other. Like, there's no like rhyme or reason around that. So if you're in that place and you're kind of like, well, I haven't done this yet, I haven't done that yet, but you think you've got a viable product and you think you've got people in your audience that may want it, then go sell that to them. Go and ask them if they want it. Go and ask them if that product is of interest. You know, as I said, it might be that you're right at the beginning of your business and you don't yet have very many testimonials. And the best way of doing that is beta testing some people. You know, getting people in for free or for a much, much lower price. Work with them, get those testimonials through, so that actually when you do start to put some strategy in place, you have proof, you have social proof that what it is that you want to sell works. You have some testimonials from people that aren't yourself that to say that it works, and it all just kind of comes together in this really nice sort of big old mix of stuff that you need to be doing. So I just kind of, I guess I wanted to end the week with, you know, a live around that, because I don't want you stuck. Like, if you stand still because you're being pulled in two different directions, you might find that you're going to stand still for a very, very long time. And standing still isn't going to build your business, isn't going to progress your business, isn't going to change your bank account, and it's going to do sweet fuck all for your confidence as well, and making you feel great about what you're doing, and at very least just feel positive about what you're doing. And we do need, like, to maintain our positivity as best we can right now, because it's shit right now. It's a bit tough, right? But that's not to say that you can't maneuver yourself through it, and you can you know, blinker things out is what I was saying to her as well. You've kind of got to like blinker things out a little bit at the moment, and focus hard on what it is that you actually want to achieve, because if you allow some of that noise in, you'll find that it will stop your progress, and it might halt the thing that you really, really want, because you're kind of, it's a little bit noisy out there at the moment. So I would make full use of the block, the mute, the unfriend, the whatever buttons that you need to use, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it doesn't mean that you don't care. It doesn't mean that you're being an arsehole friend. It doesn't mean, you know, it just doesn't mean that you're being a horrible person if you need to mute some people. I've muted a lot of people because there's too much noise, and I had to concentrate on getting my business back on track, where I took the first 7 months out of this year for a whole host of reasons. So I had to get my concentration back. I had to get my focus back. And the way that I personally do that is I spend as little time as possible in the places that are the noisiest. I switch off the people that are really highly triggering to me. I haven't unfriended many people in that kind of sense, people that are genuine friends, because I do believe that everybody has their own opinion and they're totally entitled to that, just like I am. But I wouldn't want to unfriend anybody at the moment that I genuinely hold as a friend. I'm just sticking them all on mute. And that's okay. Like, you don't need to tell anybody you've done that. Like, but if it helps you maintain your focus, that laser focus, so you get to that goal, whatever it is that you're trying to do, I highly, highly recommend that you do it. And if you do want like a bit of a social media fix, you know, for some people it's quite a social thing to do, to kind of scroll through their Facebook page or something like that. And I refer to Facebook because for me, and certainly for this lady, Facebook is the noisiest place for us both. If you want to do a bit of a scroll, go to one of the other platforms. Hell, like even, you know, open a TikTok account and just scroll through there, because it's kind of fun, and it might just make you think, what the fucking hell's going on? And just give you a bit of a refreshing thing, but give you an outlet if you do want to do some scrolling, but from a less noisy place. All right. I think the more that we can really drill down, focus on what we want, focus on where we're going, shut out some of the noise that's going on to help us keep our concentration, to help us maintain positivity, and just like keep us moving forward, the better. But you know what, if you have something to sell and you have a small audience, or you have an audience that's kind of partially built, I personally don't see anything wrong in trying to do a little bit of personal outreach maybe, and see if anybody wants to buy it. Because hey, if they do, it's money in the bank. If they don't, it doesn't really matter. It's practice for you. It's good feedback for you. If they don't want it, always ask them why. And for me, it's just progress over perfection. And I think that's really, really needs to be something that you hold quite close right now. Progress over perfection every time. Like, the perfectionists amongst us struggle, and they generally the people that are the slowest to do things, because they just get stopped. They stop at that old perfection button. So I hope you found it helpful. Happy Friday. If you're wondering what the hat is, I don't really normally wear a hat. This is my lovely friend Steve Beattie from Unspoken Wounds. He's Heart and Fire is his brand, and he's doing some wonderful things. He's getting set to cycle a rather long way, and I don't even know how he's going to do it. So you can check him out, and this arrived today. So I took a picture of him and I put it on, and I haven't taken it off because I've probably messed up my hair. So that's why I'm in the live with a hat on. But I'll go see him. He's Steve Beattie, Unspoken Wounds. But yeah, have an amazing week. I'll see you later.